Okay. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to ECE 350. I'm going to wait a little bit more, probably 1 or 2 more minutes, and then get started. Okay, I think we can get started. So here's the outline of what we're going to see today. We'll see how things work in ECE 350. We'll start our discussions about operating systems. We'll try to define operating systems if that's possible. We'll see. And then we'll talk about challenges and what actually makes operating systems exciting and interesting. Okay. Coffee or tea? Okay, so few things, first of all, about this platform, if you haven't ever used it. So right now we're using live events on Microsoft Teams. So you're hearing me with about 20 seconds delay. When you ask a question in Q&A, I will first receive the question and then I will publish. So if there is a delay in you sending the question and then getting or seeing your question being published, that's pretty much why. So yes, you're going to be muted the entire time. If you have any questions, you can ask using the Q&A. I will receive the question and then I will publish. Somebody asked about this. It's just tea. Okay. So let's get going. So I start with this. This is 95% of what you need to know from, or the takeaway from today's lecture. We have a really wonderful course webpage. There's Piazza, and then there's this anonymous feedback form. I will take a moment to actually go through them and explain stuff about them. Okay, so this is the course website. You see me, your lab instructor, Irene, and our wonderful TAs, grad TAs. One thing here is if you want to book appointment with me for, am I on the right link? I don't know. Okay, so okay, so if you want to book an appointment with me, you can just go through this link. I have my office hours are on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. On Mondays, I meet students from 11:30 to 12, and on Wednesday and Friday from 11:30 to 12:30. So you can book an appointment, put your name and email, and then book this. The same with the lab instructor and the TAs. So if you use that link. Oh, I got a question. I will explain, definitely. Yes, the lectures will be recorded and will be posted online. So let me publish that as well. Okay, so the difference here with lab instructor and the TAs is that you could either book an appointment with anybody, or you could specifically book an appointment with someone from the TAs that you want if they are available. But the same concept. You can see the days that are available and the slots that are also available. Put your name, email, and book an appointment. Okay, so that's that. So we'll talk about fundamentals of operating system design and implementation. We'll talk about processes, threads, how they're managed. We'll talk about multiprocessors, multiprocessing, real-time kernel development, scheduling, queuing management, memory, caching, etc. The main textbook is Operating Systems Principles and Practice, the second edition. This basically, do we get slides, lecture notes to download so we can annotate them while you lecture? Yes, of course. I mean, they're all available on the website. I'm going to go down and you're going to see them. Okay, so yes, so about the textbook, this is pretty much a standard textbook used in top universities, as far as I know, MIT, Berkeley, Stanford, Cornell, and so on and so forth. If you want to buy this textbook, I would suggest buying the Kindle version from Amazon. It was about, I think there are 4 so I think there are 4 versions of the book, not versions, 4 chapters of the book. So each one of them is about $8, the Kindle version, so you can buy that. There is also this one from Wisconsin, which is basically free. You can download the book. And by the way, this is the book that is used by CS. So CS at UWaterloo uses this book. So, and it basically pretty much covers what we teach. So you can use that as well. And it's free. Okay, we'll talk about evaluation in depth, but just as a overall 35% quizzes, 65% the lab project. I keep getting messages and I'm publishing them, hopefully on time. Okay, so I will post announcements here on Learn and on Piazza. I will do my best to send important announcements on Learn, but you could actually see the history of announcements here as well. Now here comes the schedule. So it has 5 columns: the week, the day, the lecture, reading, and event. Now, where is that textbook posted again? Okay, so the textbook, the main textbook, you have to buy. It's not posted. The operating system 3 easy print pieces, it's basically available on the website. So you just follow the link. It takes you to the website for the book. So if you're right now watching this video, you joined late. We're basically right now on the course website, going through all the elements. Okay, so I talked about the announcements. Now about the schedule. So here you see link to the slide in PPTX format and PDF format. You can click on them and download the slides. I have all the slides all the way through the end of the lectures. There might be some changes. Okay. So somebody is asking if it is a good idea to buy the textbook. I would definitely suggest buying it. It's a good investment of your money. So the main textbook, I have it both in, I bought both versions. I bought the Kindle version. The actual hard copy, I got a free version for the desk copy, but I have both. I definitely suggest having the textbook and complementing it. Using it as a complement for the lectures. Okay, so but if you're asking if it is necessary, no. So the slides would be sufficient to go through the course. So is there a PPTX PDF with all the slides? No, unfortunately not. I haven't put them all together in one set. It's easy to download. They're all uploaded on GitHub, so I'll give you the GitHub link so you can just git pull and get all the slides. Okay, where are we? Yes, so here you see online lecture, and then there is a link. So I assume everybody has followed this. That's how you got into the lecture. After the lecture, this will change from online lecture to recordings, and there will be a link, a YouTube link as well. So the team's link is the same, so you can, after the lecture, using the same link, you can see the recordings on Teams. The advantage of looking at the recordings or watching the recording from Teams is that you can see the Q&A. In YouTube, I will just put the recording of the lecture, so there is no Q&A, so you don't see the questions that were asked during the lecture. So if you care about the questions, you can use the Teams link. And if you just want to watch it on YouTube, there will be a link here for YouTube after the lecture. The other thing I wanted to say is about the tutorial. So we don't have tutorial every week. I think in total we have 6 tutorials. Starting from Thursday, the first one will be here. So you can see when we have tutorials, and then there's a link for it. Usually we have one tutorial on the deadline of the lab project, so that the lab instructors can talk to you about the next lab. So as you can see now in the events, I basically put on all the deadlines or any event that might be of our interest. So as you can see, the first deadline here is group sign up, which is this coming Thursday at 4:30 p.m. Eastern time. So there is also, there will be 5 lab tutorials. You can again find them here in the. Okay, so somebody's asking same Teams link for all tutorials and lectures. No, so the link actually, so these links are different. Each one of them takes you to that specific session. So there is no one link that you can use all the time, but all of them are uploaded here on the website. So that hopefully makes it easy to watch the lecture after it's delivered, or to find where the online lecture is going to be. What else? So here I have the readings. So if for today's lecture, you can read the first chapter of our OSPP book. So OSPP is operating system, is the main textbook. So OSPP, Principles and Practice. I will call it OSPP throughout the schedule. So here you can see the reading, and then there is optional reading. If necessary, there are videos or there are papers that you can actually access. So are the tutorials, the lab sessions, the tutorials are basically explanations provided by the lab instructors about the next deliverable. There is no lab session per se that you can go to lab, so everything is remote. Actually, on Thursday, Irene will talk. This tutorial is dedicated to labs, so I would definitely suggest everybody attend this tutorial. So Irene will talk about the details of the labs. So if you're if you cannot attend the lecture, definitely watch the recordings afterwards. That would also be posted here after the lecture. Okay, so I think I've covered most of the things. So again, deadlines. Oh, so about deadlines, we have at least one deadline every Thursday. So just get used to that concept. So every Thursday there is a deadline for ECE 350. What time are the tutorials? That's a good question that you can find the answer here. Time and location here. So tutorials on Thursday, 4:30 to 5:20 Eastern time. Now, there will be okay, another question. Tutorials will also be recorded and posted, right? Yes, tutorials will also be recorded and posted. Now, group sign up deadline. Okay, so there will be 11 quizzes. So almost every Thursday there is a quiz. About the quiz, so I will make a promise here that if you attend the lecture or if you watch the lecture online, I actually want to ask everyone, please, please, please attend the lectures. So it's going to be 1 hour and 20 minutes. I know that everybody is now at home watching these lectures. Every course has their own way of putting lectures out. This, in my opinion, has few advantages just for you to attend the lectures. First of all, in times where we usually don't have a really rigid schedule, this could give you some schedule, make you attend a lecture at a certain time as you were doing it, hopefully, before the pandemic. So that's the first benefit of it. Second benefit, it actually, as you're doing it now, you ask questions as I deliver the lectures. If I don't have attendees, I will just talk through the slides. And then you're going to watch that. You might have a question, and you know, that question might or might not be answered later. Whereas if you come to the lectures, you're going to spend that time either way. You're going to just watch the lectures online. So why not making it to the lectures, make lectures interactive by asking questions? And then I make this promise: if you attend the lectures, right after the lecture, you can take the quiz and get it done in 10 minutes. They're going to be like 10 true-false questions per quiz or so, or sometimes multiple choices. But if you attend the lecture, it's going to be just like a pop-up quiz, very simple based on what you see during the lecture. So I got a question: will the topics of quizzes be posted prior to them being released? So each quiz will cover everything up to that point. So we will try our best to release quizzes on Monday. So you will have from Monday that the quiz is released until Thursday at 11:30 p.m. to take the quiz. So you have plenty of time to take the quiz. Now there will be time for quiz. The moment you start taking the quiz, you will have about 1 or 2 hours to finish it. I haven't decided on how long you can have to finish the quiz. So anyways, I really ask everyone, all of you who have attended today's lecture, please come to the lectures every day going forward. I don't want to repeat myself, but it's good for everyone. And believe me, your questions make lectures interactive, and you know, it's much better than me just talking and then you later on watching the lectures. Are the quizzes cumulative? I don't exactly know what that means, but so each quiz, I will talk about quizzes actually. If you don't get an answer on that, ask me later. Okay. So we have tried, okay, make it endless. Huh. Okay. Yeah, I just don't know some of these comments and I'm just publishing them. Hopefully they're nothing inappropriate. Okay. Let's go. Okay, there are not much to say here. Depending on how we go about the pay stuff, this schedule, the tentative schedule, is based on last term, fall. So there might be a change in my pace, and things might move up and down. So we'll know as we go. So is there a sample quiz? I will talk about that. Give us a better idea of how they are like. I will talk about it. Will we be tested on the content of quiz 1? Huh? On the contents of quiz 1 in quiz 2. Oh, that's what you meant. Yes, as I said, so each quiz covers everything up to that point. So yes. The time for the quizzes I meant. Okay, no, it's not endless. Okay. Oh my God. Okay, just to confirm, will the quiz be based on the lecture we have on Monday or the whole week, including Thursday? So when the quiz is released, it will be usually on Monday. So anything before that Monday, any lectures before that Monday will be in the quiz. Nothing after that. So basically the quiz that you take with the deadline this Thursday, let's say, doesn't include the lectures in this week because it was released on Monday and it has everything up to that Monday. Hopefully that answered the question. So, okay. Now resources. Okay, my tea is getting cold. Okay, so all the slides are uploaded on GitHub. Here is the link. You can actually pull. There might be changes. Are the quizzes on Learn? Yes, the quizzes will be on Learn. Thank you for asking. Now, yeah, I was saying, so here is one example. I actually uploaded or renewed all the slides 7 days ago, but then 35 minutes ago, I fixed some logistics. So there might be some minor changes. The good thing about GitHub is that you can actually track what has changed. You don't exactly see what has changed, but at least you can see my comments about what has changed and when. So that's something to consider. Now, about sample exams and sample tests, I'm going to give you plenty. There is no guarantee that the quiz is going to be like these because these are actually hard exams because usually, so these are midterm and final exams. Quizzes are going to be hopefully easier. We haven't designed them, so I can't say with certainty that they are. I taught SE 350 2 years for, 2 terms. So I have put the exams that we had for those 2 terms, the exam and the solution. So you can look at that. In ECE 350, we cover much more than we covered in SE 350, but still you can get a sense of what could be asked. And then here is the Berkeley link. There are 20 years of exams here that you can see with questions. I mean the exam and its solution. So plenty of information, plenty of test material here. We actually follow the slides, the theme of the lectures. It follows the Berkeley course. So if you want to get a sense, you can follow you can look at these exams. Again, we will try our best to make quizzes easy. Some of them are really tricky, so it's still good to take a look at. So the past recordings, so the last term, fall 2020, this course was offered for the first time. The lectures were recorded and uploaded on YouTube, so you can find them here. You can find 24 lectures here. So this is my YouTube channel that I will upload the lectures. You can check it out here. So this is from fall 2020. There will be winter 2020 as well. Now I think that's it. Definitely follow these question and answers. Some of them I will talk about during, on my slides. So I think that's pretty much it about the course website. And then there is Piazza that you can use. And then the form. Let me also bring the form. Okay, so this one is okay. So this one is an anonymous feedback form. You can submit as many feedback as you wish, and it will be open throughout the term. Every time you put an anonymous feedback, I will get an email and I'll see what that feedback is. So if there is something that you like about the course, you can indicate. Usually past terms and past offerings, based on my experience, usually people just use this what are the things that can be improved part, but it's fine. Just know that I'm also a human being. I have feelings. Don't hurt my feelings that bad. So just sugarcoat a little bit so that it doesn't hurt. How can you sugarcoat? Well, you can use this one and tell me what I'm good at. There is another benefit of sugarcoating, and that is maybe something that you like, somebody dislikes. So if you don't tell me that you like it and somebody else comes and tells me that they don't like it, I might change it, right? So on human level, do sugarcoat. On your own benefit, also sugarcoat. So anyways, this will be available throughout the semester, so definitely use that if there are any concerns. So one thing about this is sometimes I got feedback that kind of asked for a response, but this is anonymous. How can I respond? If you really want to respond, you have to email me, or yeah, I mean, you have to email me. You can make a fake email and send an email. Oh, you're cute. I am. I'm so cute. So okay, where are we? Okay, let's move on to the slides. Lectures will be delivered on Teams, and then I will provide links to the recordings after the class. Office hours will be on Team. You can book an appointment with me, with lab instructor, and the graduate TAs. There will be no office hours during week 1 and then reading week. Lab tutorials will also be delivered on Teams, and then we'll provide links to the recordings afterwards on the course website. So these are, you've seen them. So I've included emails for TAs and their pictures and their names. So that's that. I talked about the textbook and the optional readings. I'm going to assume that everybody here has passed ECE 252. I'm going to assume that you know basics about file system API. You should know how to open a file, how to write to a file, how to work with files. You should know the basics about processes and threads. You should know what is TCB, what is PCB, what are the stages in the life cycle of a process, of a thread. How do we fork? How do we exec? How do we signal? You should know about inter-process communication, through file sharing, through memory sharing, through message passing, and through pipes. I'm again assuming that you know about networks, sockets, ports, client-server programs. You should know about concurrency. What is mutual exclusion? What are the mutexes? What is a semaphore? What is a lock? What is condition variables? Based on last term's experience, you probably didn't spend much time on condition variables. We're going to spend one tutorial on this. So as I mentioned, so as I mentioned, there are 6 tutorials as of now scheduled. 5 of them are going to be lab tutorials, and 1 of them is going to be a lecture tutorial. And I'll talk about a little bit more about condition variables in that tutorial, because in the lecture notes, they're not much. And then monitors. And you should know about deadlock, how to avoid deadlocks, how to detect them, how to recover from them, what's the bank's algorithm. Okay, so I got a question. What if we don't remember anything? You're screwed. Go and refresh your memory. No, definitely go and refresh your memory. I'm assuming that you know all of these. Is MTE 251 acceptable instead of ECE 252? Some of us. Hopefully, yes. Hopefully. You should know many of these, at least. You should know many of these. If not, definitely reach out to me. We can talk specifically. If you have any concerns about any of these that you don't know, then definitely reach out. Okay, I got another question. Or the thread process life to an extent. Yeah, again, I'm going to publish this. Definitely, if there are things that you don't know, reach out. Good resource to read up on this stuff coming from another program. The course book, the main textbook, has them all. So we're not going to. So let me go through the. On the schedule, you can sometimes see things like this, and 3 to refresh your memory. So chapter 3, for instance, is something that I'm not going to cover, and I'm going to be assuming that you have seen it in the past. Or here, I would say like 5.2 to 5.6 to refresh your memory. So these are the chapters that I'm not going to cover, but they're good resources to read. So to answer that question. I got another question. Will there be gaps in my knowledge if I exclusively watch the lectures and don't read the textbook. Hopefully not. Hopefully you won't need the textbook. However, I strongly recommend having it and reading it. So if your plan is to just pass the course, get a good grade and move on, then lectures should be enough for you. If you're interested in systems and operating systems and computer systems, and you're planning on doing a graduate studies or specializing in this field, then I would definitely recommend going another step further and widening your knowledge. So again, depending on your goals, if all you need is to get a good score in this course and move on with your life, then you really don't need the textbook. And it's not I'm not forcing anybody to buy, so you can just move on. But if you're interested in this and you're seeing yourself doing stuff in this, then I would definitely recommend having the book and reading it. What is Banker's algorithm? I forgot. You need to do some Googling or look at your lecture notes. How similar, different are the readings from the lectures? Will they cover different topics? No, not really. So the lectures usually have extra stuff than the book, but there are cases that the book has stuff that I don't cover. But when that happens, that book has something that I don't cover, they're not going to show up in the exams. So the exams are going to be primarily from the lectures. Again, I think I've made myself clear on what is necessary and what's not. Okay, you can also check out the 252 summary notes on GitHub. Really good course. Yes, yes, that's a good point actually. So thank you for whoever brought that up. So for those of you who are coming from another discipline, ECE 252 also has a GitHub that is here. So here you can find out all the lectures from ECE 252. And I believe there was like all of them all together, lumped together in one file somewhere. So you can follow this as well. To refresh your memory, follow ECE 252 lecture notes. They're really great lecture notes. I've actually looked at them to make a conclusion on what you know and what you don't. So, okay. Great. Yeah, thank you for someone actually put on a link for Banker's algorithm from ECE 252. Thank you so much. Yeah. Great. Back to slides. Okay. See, I love questions. So if you were not here and you were not asking these questions, I would have just gone through the slides and would have not answered any of these questions. The exact same thing will happen with the lectures. If I get attendees, they're going to ask questions. I'm going to be answering questions. If I don't, I'm just going to talk about the lectures, about the slides, and then that's going to be it. Which you can actually just read the slides yourself. So what's the point? So please, I beg everyone, please attend the lectures. Let's keep it interactive and something that gives you some sort of a schedule for your week. Okay, enough of that. What are we going to see in this course? We're going to see some key system abstractions that have emerged over time. And then we're going to see how we can design them and implement them, and what are the trade-offs between them. And then hopefully we get an idea, when we know about them, we get an idea how to use them efficiently. Why take ECE 350? So I know that for some of you guys, this is a core course, you have to take it. For some of you, it's an elective. Why would you take ECE 350? Why would you learn about operating systems? So first of all, some of you might end up designing operating systems, or not an operating system, but participating in projects that work on operating systems, or you know, parts of an operating system. Well, this is a course for you, definitely. Many of you may not, in your careers, implement an operating system or any part of operating system, but you might create other systems, other computer systems. Like you might go to a company, have to do something with data centers. You might go do some stuff in the cloud. You might go, you know, make backend for an app. So you might end up using the concepts that you will learn in this course. Many of you will carry over this knowledge to design other computing systems. And this is basically a fundamental course for you to learn those concepts. And almost all of you will write applications and programs that would run eventually on an operating system. And taking this course, you learn how operating systems work. And that helps you to take advantage of the concepts that you learn, to write efficient code, to take advantage of what is provided by the operating system abstraction. So as a result, this is a course for every computer engineer and every computer scientist. It's a core course that you will definitely need in your careers. Okay, now some important stuff. I've actually alluded to many of them, but let's talk about those. What time is it? 12:13. Yeah, let's take 2 minutes of break, and then I'll continue. So just get up if you're sitting in front of your laptop, stretch if you're already in your bed, stretch. We'll take a moment and then I'll continue. Ended up drinking cold tea. So dedicated. Okay, you know students way too well. I do. I have been a student. So no, I still am a student. So yeah, I do. Okay, now I'm done with my cold tea. I can continue. Okay, let's continue. Some important stuff. Evaluation. So there'll be 5 deliverables for your labs. They're hard, unfortunately. I wish I wouldn't have had to say that, but I have to say that. I have taught an operating system course this is my 4th time teaching an operating system course here at U Waterloo. Every single term, students complain about the lab being hard. I had these complaints from SE students. I had these complaints from CE students. But you know what? It is hard. Unfortunately, it is hard. There is a way for me to make it easy, but then I don't want to do it. I'm a little bit sinister. No, but if you really want to learn about operating systems, you have to go through this. Sorry, we will do our best given the feedback we got from last term. We'll make it easier from last term, but it's still gonna be hard. So buckle up. That's all I can say. Okay, now quizzes. At least here is the compromise. Last term, quizzes were actually also hard and tricky because we were taking them from the Berkeley exams, but students didn't like it. They probably like it to see like tricky. They don't even like that, but it would be fine to have tricky questions in midterm and final. But then every week, seeing tricky questions, that made a lot of people upset. And they definitely made their voices heard. So quizzes will be easy, I promise, or we'll do our best to make them easy. All of them are going to be online on Learn. Will be released on Monday, and then you can you have time to take them until the deadline. Will lab be similar to 252 labs or harder? This is going to be probably the hardest lab projects you have ever, and you will be taking courses in the future. So buckle up. And I'm not really kidding. So sorry. This is the only thing that I'm saying it, and I can't do anything about it. And I apologize. So okay. Okay, I will do my best to make quizzes easy. They're going to be on Learn. Please don't cheat. There will be a declaration first that you have to declare that you're not going to cheat. And once you finish that, you can see the quiz. The quiz will be released. On not cheating, there's this really nice YouTube video from, I think, Berkeley. That this professor is talking about why you shouldn't cheat. And the gist of it is that we human beings, we just do what we're used to do, right? If this early in your careers you learn to cheat to get a good grade, this becomes a habit of yours. Now, you will graduate, you will start working in a company or something, and cheating becomes sometimes impossible. Maybe you're working on a project nobody else is working on, so you can't look at what your co-worker is doing to cheat. But because you have grown into the habit of cutting corners, you will definitely make or find a way to cut corners. You do something to finish that project without actually doing the work. And as that professor puts it, I really don't want to sit or fly on an airplane that was programmed by someone who was cheating during their undergrads. I really don't. I don't want my family members to flew by those airplanes. So again, that professor also says, like, people tell you all sorts of stuff about why you shouldn't cheat. You're, doing bad to our reputation. You're, this is unfair to your classmates and stuff. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. But for your own sake, don't cheat. One thing to warn you about is that actually Learn I don't know if you know or not, but Learn tracks all your movements. Like at what time, with what IP, at what time you saved your answers, which question you did first, which question you did last, all of that. And it gives us a track of all the information. At this point, we're not going to look into any of that. We're going to trust you. You're going to declare that you're not going to cheat, and that we're going to trust on that. But we can't do anything if someone comes and says, "Oh, I cheated with this other student." Then we have to investigate. And at that point, we will look into those logs. And please don't, like, it's a headache for everyone. What's the point? What's the point? So there will be 11 quizzes. You don't need to take all of them. So only 6 of them will. I don't have them in the slides. That's a shame. I did have them on the website. Okay, let me actually now answer the questions. Let me finish about the quizzes and then I'll answer the questions. So about the quizzes. So there are 11 quizzes, but we're not going to count all of them. We'll just pick your 6 highest grades out of 11. So we will disregard 5. You could potentially not take 5 quizzes, get 0 on them, and you'll be fine, because we're going to pick only 6 of them. So 6 highest grades will be considered. Quizzes are open book. So this is another reason for you not to cheat. What the heck, guys? Don't cheat. It's open book. You can have your textbook. You can have your lecture notes. You can use any material, including the exams that I posted, the sample exams. You can write a script that searches through those and finds a word that you are looking for, whatever. That's allowed. You can do that. So any material that is posted on the website, you can use it. But any other source, you cannot use Google to search. You cannot use Stack Overflow, Stack Exchange, any of the websites. You cannot directly or indirectly talk to anybody else during and after the exam about the tests, about the questions. You cannot post your answers on any website. But you can ask me questions. So let's say you're taking a quiz and you have a question, one question is not clear, then email me. So it's okay to email me. Don't use the Piazza, but email me directly. If it is during the day in Waterloo, I will answer, hopefully, pretty fast. So if you need clarifications, if you need questions to be answered, email me, and that is fine. But do not communicate with anybody else, directly or indirectly. Okay, so that's pretty much it. Now I can answer some of the questions I got. So what's the delta in difficulty from last time? Oh, yeah. In difficulty of what? Difficulty of quizzes, the delta is probably a lot. Like, it's going to be dramatically easier quizzes from last term, dramatically. But labs, a little bit easier, not much, unfortunately. Okay, will we be allowed to drop our lowest quiz? I answered that question, yes. So we'll automatically drop your 5 lowest grades. So don't worry about them. If you mess up 1 quiz, 2 quiz, 3 quizzes, up to 5 quizzes, that's fine. If you don't want to take them, don't take them. If you're sure that the ones that you're going to take, they're going to be wonderful, then don't take them. But here's what I'm promising. Come to the lectures, and then right after the lecture, 10 minutes, just 10 easy true-false questions, and be done with the quiz and go have fun. Okay, so will we be allowed to drop our... Okay, I answered that question. Anyone have the link to the ECE course on GitHub? Somebody actually published that. I mean, somebody sent it and then I published it. Go through the questions and you will see it there. Why do lab groups need a project manager? I will talk about that. Sorry, I just missed it. If I Google a topic and there is an existing Stack Overflow answer, yeah, you should not do that. I'm not allowed to use it, correct? Yes. So no use of any other resource than what you can see on the course website. So course website is all you need and all you can use during the quiz, nothing else. And that is pretty much more than enough. So there are, for God's sake, there's a textbook on operating system on the website that you can use. There are lecture notes, sample test quizzes. So you shouldn't need anything other than that. How do we submit quizzes again? It's going to be on Learn. So it's going to be a quiz on Learn. You will first have to finish the declaration, declaring all of these that you're going to abide by. And once you do that, then you can see the quiz and then you'll take the quiz. The moment you start the quiz, you have about, I haven't made a decision, but 1 or 2 hours to finish it. But then overall, you have plenty of days to make time to take the quiz. I actually had this student who would always take the quiz after the lecture. He would always be on the lecture, and then once he would be done by the lecture, would go and take the quiz, and he always had the highest grades. I mean, you probably 1 exception or 2 exceptions, but that's how it was. Even in previous term where we had really tricky questions. Anyways. Okay, anyone have the link? Okay, I couldn't find it. Only the 350 link. Really? Let me see. Pretty much somebody put it. Yeah, here. I guess I can show you on my here. Yeah, that's the link. This is the GitHub. Let me publish this. I put it there. Okay. Okie doke. Okay. A quick disclaimer, hopefully this never happens, but given all the, uncertainties, we might end up changing these. It has not ever happened. I think it once happened. No, even the first time that we had to shut down the classes in SE 350, the first time that the university got closed because of COVID-19, we didn't actually change the weights, or did we? I think we did change the weights for lab deliverables a little bit because of we couldn't have any exams and stuff. So if no, extraordinary thing happens, then these weights are going to be the same. Nothing is going to change. But if things happen, then we might actually end up changing these weights. So we reserve all the rights to change these weights. Okay, so what was the average like last term? If I'm not mistaken, above 80. I don't remember. I think it was above 80 something. How much time would you expect the labs will take? It will depend. It really will depend on how you manage your time, what your programming levels are and stuff. Okay. Now, a little bit about lab project. There'll be a whole tutorial on Thursday by the lab instructor about the labs. So wait for more details on that. But you're going to be designing basically a real-time kernel for DE1 SoC boards. Your kernel will have task management units in it. It will have memory management units in it. It will have a scheduler. It will have message passing capabilities. So these are the things that you're going to implement. So in essence, you will implement a lightweight kernel for this board, which has 2 ARM cores. We probably will only use 1 core. We're not going to do multi-core programming, probably. We're still changing some last-minute stuff, but most probably you're going to just do uniprocessor programming. This board also has an FPGA, so hopefully, again, there are last-minute changes that we're doing, but we are hoping to eventually, at the end of the lab 5, make you do some interesting stuff with this board, where you could, have your operating system as the platform for real-time AI, where you get, a stream of images and then you can classify them on. So basically, your operating system provides that capability for this board. But no promises, so we'll see where it goes. This is the first time we're using these boards. So for all the previous terms that I taught this course, and it has been taught, the SE version of it, we have been using a different board. So we got a really generous donation, bunch of generous donations from Intel and ARM last year. So this is the first time we're using these boards. So there might be some changes from the previous term. Anyways, now groups should have 4 members. 5 is not allowed. 3, you need to justify why 3. And the deadline for this is going to be 4:30 Eastern Time on January 14th. Now, each group must have a project manager. We have to buy these boards or simulating it. No, these boards, we got them as donations from Intel, so we have them installed. So you will be connecting to them remotely. We also have the simulator. We had other donations from ARM, so the simulators are available to us. But the thing about the simulators is that you can probably use them for lab 1, 2, and at most 3. And the rest of the labs you have to actually eventually, even for lab 1, 2, and 3, eventually you have to make your code run on the board, on the physical board. And there are some inconsistencies between the simulator and the board. So even if you get your code running on the simulator, that doesn't mean that your code is going to 100% work on the board. So eventually you're going to actually remotely work with the board to get your code running. But you will also have simulator. So at least for lab 1, 2, 3, probably 3. I'm not sure about 3. But for those labs, you will have a simulator as well. Thank you for the question. Okie doke. Now, what is the responsibility of a project manager? So anything that happens in that group, if anything happens, that requires us to, look into resolve issues and stuff, we're going to first talk to the project manager. Project manager is responsible for coordinating everyone in the group. If you're going to meet, if you're going to submit, if there are going to be deadlines, that's going to be done by the project manager. Now, you could rotate the role of project manager between the group members, teammates, but for each deliverable, we need to know who's the project manager. So what's going to happen is that on Thursday, where there is the deadline for sign up, for group signups, you have to say who is the project manager for lab 1. And then when you submit your lab 1, if you want to change your project manager, you have to tell us then who's going to be the project manager for lab 2. If your project manager is not going to change, then you don't need to say anything. We will assume that the same project manager is going to take the role for the next lab. But if it's going to change, then you have to tell us by the submission of your previous project. Yep. Okay, I got questions. Are all the labs dependent on each other? Yes. So we're building a kernel, right, from scratch. So we're not doing some independent stuff. We're building a kernel. So at the end of the semester, you're going to have a working kernel. As a result, you're building up on that throughout the term, and there's no way around it. If we wanted to do anything interesting, which we wanted, this is the way to go forward with it. So there is dependency between the labs. Can the project manager also develop? Yes, of course. So considering the labs, oh, of course. So the lab, the project manager is not just there to, you know, set up the meetings and stuff. So when you're dividing work, you should also consider that your project manager has extra roles to play. But then at the end of the day, it's up to the group teammates to divide the work between each other. So yes, of course, the project manager will also be developing code, unless group members decide not to ask the project manager to do so. Get evaluated for their management capabilities. Of course they do. I will talk about evaluation. Okay, enough of that. Okay, so we will only allow one split up the entire term. So if a group is not working and a member wants to break up with the group, you have to give us 1 week notice in writing before the nearest deadline. Every student involved will lose 1 grace day, and it only can happen once. Hopefully it never happens. About milestones for project, there are going to be 5 deliverables. All of them are on Thursdays at the same time, 4:30. One thing about deadlines, this term, there is a coordination between all the courses in ECE. So each course is assigned a day. The day that was assigned to us is Thursday. So we cannot basically move any deadline because it would interfere with other courses. So these are set and written on stone. We cannot change them. To just be lenient, we're giving you 5 grace days, which I will get into. So you have 5 grace days you can use, but do not even attempt to ask for extensions to deadlines. It's impossible because we cannot move the date. The only thing I can do is to push it for another week, which will push everything else down, and it's not possible because we're full. So there will be no extension whatsoever. Do not even ask. Because of this coordination, I cannot do anything. So these are set. Even timing I cannot change. So the timing is 4:30 p.m. on the deadline day, and you can see these deadlines on the schedule. Again, we'll hopefully, if nothing extraordinary happens, these weights are not going to change, but we again reserve rights to change the weights. Hopefully never happens, but just to put it there. Now, this is one important thing that I want everybody to listen to. Previously, last years, last terms that not the previous term, but prior to that, we sometimes would get these complaints from group members that, oh, like our other teammates are not contributing. We're just doing the whole thing. So to avoid that, we're going to have teammate anonymous evaluations. Now, I will talk about the deadline of when to do these evaluations, but the idea is you will rate your teammates a number from 0 to 10. And then you also provide some feedback. You can write what you like about their style, what you don't like, what you want them to improve. So for each deliverable, you will submit one form. Each student submits one evaluation form that provides evaluation to your how you evaluate your teammates. Now we'll take the average of how your teammates have evaluated you, and based on your peer rating, we will assign to you a contribution factor. So if your rating is anything between 7 to 10, your contribution factor becomes 1. If it's anything between 6 to 7, your contribution becomes 0.8, so on and so forth. Then after we evaluate the project for a group, you get a score for your project as a group. Then each individual student gets their contribution factor multiplied by the group's grade. Oh yeah, it was really a great movie. The first one though, I didn't like the second. Or is this the second one? I think this is the first one. I don't know. Do I see how I am rated? Yes. So you will then receive the aggregated rating and anonymous feedbacks. So after we put all the feedback together, we'll remove any names and stuff, so you can all just see that your group mates have rated you this number, and this is the feedback you got from your group mates or teammates. You don't know who gave you what or whose feedback you're seeing, but you get a feedback from your group. Now, one thing about the deadline for this, when you should submit these forms, there was a lot of confusions last term. So in order for us to resolve any confusion, here's how it's going to work. So you have to submit this form 1 hour after you submit your project, unless you submit your project before the deadline. So let's say the deadline is today at 4:30. If you submitted your project yesterday, you still have time to submit your anonymous evaluation form. So the deadline for you becomes 5:30 today. So for anybody who submits their projects before the deadline, for them, the deadline to submit these evaluation forms is basically 5:30 that day, the deadline's day. Now, if you're going to use your grace days, so you're not going to meet the deadline, and you're going to just go over the deadline, then for you, it's going to be the moment 1 hour after you submit your project. So let's say you're going to use 2 or 3 days. So you don't need to submit your evaluation form until then. But once you submit your late project, 1 hour after that, you have to submit your evaluation form. Now, unfortunately, this was the penalty. We're going to have a penalty. Unfortunately, we have to. Otherwise, some people wouldn't submit these forms. So the penalty is 5% on your contribution factor per day after you miss the deadline. So if you miss the deadline, you're going to be penalized 5% per day afterwards. So this was a main factor for many students last term to lose grade on their lab project. So this is utmost important. Please do not miss the deadline for evaluation forms. Write it down somewhere in front of your eyes so that you know. 1 hour, this could be something that you can ask your project manager to do. So you can ask the project manager to remind everyone to submit their evaluation forms. And this is another way for you, this evaluation form is a way for you to evaluate the project manager as well. So you can evaluate everybody in your team, including the project manager. And the project manager also can evaluate everybody. We're not going to weight more, like put more weight on the project manager's evaluation, so everybody has equal weight, but do so. So let me answer these questions and end this lecture. So what if we forget to submit it? I answered that. You get 5% penalty per day. Is that minimum 1 hour or within 1 hour after? This is within 1 hour. That's the maximum time you have. So any time after you submit until 1 hour afterwards, you have to submit this. Where can we access these evaluation forms? They will be uploaded on Learn, and then you have to submit them to your Dropbox. Okay, so that was great. I really appreciate everybody who has who took time and attended the lecture, and everybody else who's going to watch the lectures. So we'll talk to you then on Thursday. So take care, be safe, and stay healthy. Bye-bye. You do not have to evaluate. Do we have an evaluation for Lab 0? No. So Lab 0 doesn't have any evaluation. Yeah. Okay. Bye-bye.